friends, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Maria, but if this happens to be your first time visiting, welcome to Siempre Infinito DIY. So happy you chose to stop by. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to be doing is repainting this cauldron a lighter color, and I chose the color purple. But first, I am going to give it 2 coats of white paint, and that's going to help me lighten that color a little bit more. And this way also it's going to prevent me from having to paint it 3 or 4 different times. So once I have my cauldron all painted, I'm going to let it sit and dry. In the meantime, I am going to be working on my little witch. So here I have a ball, and I am going to be using this tool. And this tool is just to help me guide me to know where I'm going to be placing her eyes. This way they will not be crooked, they'll be straight. So once I have her eyes, and then I'm going to go in with this tool, and that's just going to give her a smile. If you do not have this tool, you can just use a straw, cut that in half, and that'll give you that smile shape. I went ahead and added her nose, and I just did a little teardrop and then just placed it on there, and that was just a cute little nose. So now I'm going to be working on her hair. I made an oval shape. You want to make sure that it's not too thin. So once I have my oval shape all out, then I am going to go in, and I wanted to have give her like a hair to have like a split line hair. I don't know if that makes any sense. And then I am going to also want her to have ponytails. So that's why I made the shape into an oval. Once I placed it, made sure that the back of her head was covered. Then I just went ahead and squeezed the ends tight, close together, and that's the way I shaped her ponytail. Then I went in with my tool and I made just lines just to try to make it more mimicking hairlines. So you can use a knife if you do not have one of these tools. Just be careful not to cut yourself. And this is really extremely easy to do this. Also, when you're making those lines, you want to make sure that you do not squeeze too tight, because you don't want to give her dents. And otherwise, if they're too deep in, when it dries up, it's just, you're going to notice it right away. So if there's a little slight dent in there, don't worry about it. Eventually it's going to go away. I wanted her cheeks to have to be rosy, so I just went ahead and got an old makeup eye palette and just brushed them on there. It was a little bit too dark, so I just went in with a different brush and just brushed some of that off. So now I am going to be working on her cute little witch hat, and I use a cookie cutter that I got from the Dollar Tree. They come, if I'm correct, I think they come like 3 in a pack, not different sizes, just 3 different shapes. I cut out 2 witch hats, and then I went ahead and put them together. Now this part, when you're putting them together, will be time consuming, and that's because I did not want it, the line where you'll see when they are together, to be visible. So I just went ahead and it just started smoothing it out, so that again, that is a little time consuming. So also, I wanted it to have a black ring going all the way around the bottom of the hat. So I just got some black, and then I just cut strips, and I just went ahead and added that around. As well, I wanted her to have like a little belt in the middle of her hat. And this was very easy to do. So I would like to come in here just real quick to welcome all of my new subscribers. Thank you so much, guys, for subscribing to my channel, and also to let everyone know who have been following me from the beginning. Thank you so much, guys, for always being there. Thank you so much, as always, leaving me nice comments. You guys rock. Thank you again from the bottom of my heart. And can you believe it? I am so close to reach my 1,000 subscribers. Again, thank you so very much. And if you have not had a chance to visit me on my Facebook page, don't forget to go there. It is you'll find it under Maria Fake Bakes. I am also going to leave a link to my Facebook page, so you can go and check that out. I go live every Thursdays, so it would be so awesome if you guys can also join me there. And with all of that being said, let's get back to the video. Okay, so now here she is. I went ahead and added some cute little bows on her, and I got this mold from Temu, and I'm going to go right ahead and add it to the description box down below, so in case you are looking for one. Also, I got one off of Amazon, which I will also be linking it down in the description down below. So now that I have her, I want to start working on her body. So here I have the cauldron all painted, and I am going to use it to kind of help me, like, guide me to see how big I want to make her body. So I went ahead and just grabbed some black clay, and I did almost like a rectangle, not a rectangle, but a triangle shape. And again, I'm going to keep it very easy and simple. So now that I got the size that to me it looks like it's going to be perfect, I am going to start adding her arms. And then I also want to give her almost like, not a neck, but like I guess you can say almost like a ring around the top of where her head's going to meet, because that's going to almost like mimic her little part of her little dress. And I wanted her to have a cute little belt going around. Okay, so here she is. She is starting to look so adorable. So now that I have her body, I am going to start working on her arms. And you want to be careful whenever you're using also sharp objects like scissors or knives, because you do not want to cut yourself. Okay, so when it comes to her arms, I want to make sure that they are the same length. So whenever I make hands, I always want to make sure that they're both the same. Like I said, the length. So when I grab my pieces of balls, I always line them up. If you guys have seen me live, you see me do this a lot, because I want to make sure that one is not bigger than the other. I have done this before many times with one hand is bigger than the other, and it just looks too funny. So whenever I rolled out either two arms or two hands or two eyes or whatever, I'm always making sure that they are the same size, and which is why I always line them up. So here all I'm doing is her hand, and I wanted her to have like a little wrist, which is why I made it slightly thinner, where you'll notice where the wrist and the hand begins, where the wrist ends and the hand begins. And really, all I did is just try to squeeze a little bit, and then almost making it like a little teardrop shape at the end. I went in with my scissor, and then I just cut what was going to be her thumb, and then I just pulled back or pushed down the thumb, because I wanted, of course, it's supposed to be smaller than the other fingers. And I did the same thing with the other side. And then at the bottom where the arm begins, I just flattened that, and then I just attached it to her body. Now again, because the clay was all still soft, I did not have to worry about adding glue. But if you do work where you're above a fan, or if your AC is running too high, you want to make sure that you add glue, because it will come apart. I try not to use glue whenever I can, but it has come to times where I had no other choice but to add the glue. So now that I have her all done and ready, I am going to want to give her a little pet, and I'm going to be making a cute little cat. Now I'm not going to make the whole body. I'm just going to make his head and his paws and his little tail. So when it comes to the head, I went ahead and just rolled out a ball. And then for his ears, I just cut little triangles, and then I made sure that they were the right size, the same size. Then for his paws, the same way I was doing her little hands, I just rolled about, make sure they were the same size. I pressed down on the top and then just used the little line, the knife to make little lines, and that was for his paws. And here are his cute little tail. Now for the eyes, I used tip number 3. And I just went ahead and just made 2 balls, and then of course 2 eyes. And I went ahead also made a pumpkin, and I want the little kitten to look like he's resting or hugging the pumpkin. This is why I did not make a body, and this is how easy he was to make. He is looking so adorable. I don't know which one I like the most, the little kitten or her. So now I'm going to show you how I made the mummy. So the first thing I did was to make his boots. I wanted to make sure that both of the boots were the same size. So I rolled out balls the same size and then just rolled them out and then made an L shape. Now this part is optional, but I just went ahead and made a little hole in the center, almost making them look like little Uggs. I wanted to make sure that the boots were flat at the bottom, because once they dry up, they will curve, and then your little guy is just going to be tipping over. So you want to make sure that the boots lay flat. So now here are the legs. Again, I want to make sure that they are the same size. I'm not leaving any measurements because it is up to you how big you want your little mummy to be. This part, what I did here is I went ahead and just made a hole in both of the legs, and I just made it on the bottom because I want the pants to be over the boot. So once I had both of my little legs all set, then I just went ahead and made sure that they went inside the boot, not inside, outside the boot. And then I just pressed them in together. So, and then if you want, also you can press down or, press the clay down. And this way it'll make it look longer. And I'm talking about the pants. And then I added them together, or I placed them together, put them to the side. Now for his body, I went ahead and made the body the same way I made the little witch's body, and that's just a triangle shape, and I just used the palm of my hand. The reason I did this is because since he is going to be wrapped in cloth, not cloth, but what do you call it, like strips of bandages, it wasn't really going to matter how wide or what type of shape of body he had. As you can see right in the top, I just pressed that down because that's where I'm going to be placing his head. And again, I went ahead and made 2 little balls and made sure both of them were going to be the same length, because these are going to be the arms. Now the same thing that I did to the bottom of the pants, I did to where the shirt or the arms were going to be at, because that's where I'm going to stick his little hands. And then I just made a bunch of strips, and I just placed them everywhere on all over his body. It doesn't really matter in what pattern or what angle, or however, it just depends on you, however you want to place him. And here he is. I just did the front, the back, and of course wherever it meets, if it feels like it's getting almost looking like a dress, if you know what I hope you understand what I'm trying to say here, then you just want to go in with your scissors and cut through, and that will give it again that pants shape. His head, I did not show you how I did it, because obviously I did it the same way I did hers, and I wanted it to look like his hair was coming out, or you could see from his hair. That's why when I wrapped this bandages around his head, you can still see his hair. When I went and added his hair, I really didn't care if it was on there right or not, as long as it showed through the bandages that he had black hair. And this is how I made my little mummy. He was just as easy as she is. It all really just takes time. Okay, and here's a closer look. What do you think? I really love how they both came out. They look so adorable. I can't wait to start working on the other characters. Well, my friends, this is the end of the video. Thank you so much for stopping by. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And again, until the next time, stay safe, be kind. Bye.